Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be talking about the recent first-time Oscar-winning Godzilla movie, Godzilla Minus One. I saw Godzilla Minus One in the movie theaters when it came out, and wow, this was just great, fantastic, and excellent. This movie blew my mind away and amazed me. After seeing this movie in the movie theaters, I walked out satisfied and glad to have seen this movie in a movie theater on the big screen for the experience. Despite reviewing a lot of Godzilla movies in different eras in one separate video, but after seeing this movie in the movie theater, I said to myself, down the road, I must do a solo video on this one because this movie deserves its own essay video analysis. What I really love about this movie was that it was not a remake to the original, it was more in that spiritual remake and tribute to what the first original Godzilla film represented. It was not predictable. It's not like how in today's modern day movies where you point out and nitpick the cliches. Not this movie for me. Even with the scenes with Godzilla not being talked about, I love these characters in this movie. They are very complex, interesting, sympathetic, just like the characters in the first original Godzilla movie. Compared to Shin Godzilla, I like these characters a lot more than Shin Godzilla, but that's just me. To me, Shin Godzilla had too many overload characters that we don't get to know, connect, and relate to. In this movie, we were very invested in these characters from start to finish. I like the character Shishikashima. I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. Once again, I apologize for that. He was a World War II pilot, like a lot of soldiers after the war. He suffers from PTSD and feels guilt and grief for an accident that happened during the war, where Godzilla attacked and killed his crew members. He has nightmares about that horrific event. He has a hard time adjusting to post-World War II life. When Godzilla attacks Tokyo, it did pay some homage to remind me of the first movie. Seeing him attack and destroy buildings, seeing innocent people die, seeing Noriko die, I was like, no, I don't want her to die. I'm like, no! This is a spoiler video right here, so stop the video right here if you've not seen the movie yet. But after when Shishikashima helps destroy Godzilla, he finds out Noriko survived the Godzilla attacks, rushes to the hospital crying and happy that she was okay and survived. I'll admit, I was tearing up a little bit myself because I was happy for him to make peace and that the war was over. Also, it took him a while to realize the love of his life was right in front of his eyes, and he would take her more for granted, and he will definitely marry her as soon as possible once she's recovered from the injuries. He has this mindset thinking he did not deserve to live after his mistake he made in the war. He meets this woman who has a baby that is not hers, but raises the baby like it was her own child. They don't get married, but they do develop romantic feelings for each other as the film goes on. Despite the little baby girl was not his child, he does his best he can to be a father figure for that baby. Being a stepfather figure to that baby gives him sense and purpose and meaning in life after the war. The little baby girl was cute and adorable. Just when she thought her stepmom died, you felt sad and sympathetic for her because she almost lost someone who so far raised and nurtured her like a real mother. With all the anger and guilt he lives with, it's hard for him to tell his girlfriend what happened when he fought in the war. This movie took place during World War II, one of the first Godzilla films in a different period. Even though despite Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, they went back in time for World War II, but that was more of a time travel movie with only a little bit of World War II scenes. I'm not sure if that counts. After when World War II was over in Japan's economy, when things were slowly getting back to normal, Japan has another war with a big giant monster, can't win or lose. Seeing the disaster poor class made me think a little bit of Bicycle Thieves to some degree with Japan's post-World War II economy. When I was watching this movie, it made me think just like Batman, you do so much with that character, same with Godzilla. It gave me an idea. Would it be cool to see in a Godzilla movie, Godzilla versus samurais, where the samurais don't have the advanced weapons to kill Godzilla, make it hard and difficult to defeat Godzilla, just like in the recent Prey Predator movie, or a follow-up sequel to this movie, Godzilla set in the Vietnam War, or maybe a Godzilla movie in the Civil War, if that makes any sense or not. I'm not sure if I'm right on this one. This was the first time in a Godzilla movie I saw where the soldiers throw a bomb in Godzilla's mouth and his mouth exploded and Godzilla heals fast. I can't recall this in any previous Godzilla movies that come to mind. If this is not true, let me know in the comments below. Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla 2014, saw this movie and said he was very impressed and jealous, wishing this is how he made his Godzilla 2014 movie. It's true they say, your worst critic is yourself. Well, I didn't think the 2014 Godzilla movie was bad. It wasn't perfect, not what Godzilla fans expected, and they weren't satisfied. It was kind of a mixed movie. This is also not the kind of Godzilla movie where he's not doing victory dances, fighting giant monsters. This is on the serious side note. Jumping in the air to kick or shaking hands with Jet Jaguar. Godzilla's a bad guy in this movie, just like the first movie. I said I was not the biggest diehard Godzilla fan. This movie just drew me by surprise. Despite catching up and watching almost every Godzilla movie, that doesn't make me a Godzilla guru. Thanks to my friends, they've helped me understand and gain knowledge of what makes a good Godzilla movie, and how Godzilla's become a big icon in pop culture, and what the first one represents. My Godzilla experience is very funny and odd to some degree. As a little kid before I knew or saw about the original Godzilla Japanese movie from 1954, like every Godzilla fan or beginner, I saw the Raymond Burr cut first, thinking that was the first Godzilla movie, not realizing that it was not the first Godzilla movie. Due to the original Japanese Godzilla reputation at the time, when the US distributed it, dubbing and adding cutscenes with Raymond Burr, I did not know the Japanese cut was never released here in the US until 2004. Despite seeing some Godzilla movies in the movie theater, this is the second time I've seen a total Godzilla movie in the movie theaters. As much as I do like Godzilla 2000 Millennium, but honestly, if I had to pick one, this was a better movie experience. But still, that movie does have a special place in my heart. It was the first total Godzilla movie I saw as a little kid. When I was a little kid watching random Godzilla movies on television, they were English dub. This movie surprised me. This was the Japanese cut, not an English dub. But I did know this movie was released in black and white and an English dub too. As a kid, when I watched a Godzilla movie, all I cared about was Godzilla fighting giant monsters. But now I'm older, I'm drawn to the characters in Godzilla movies now. But the first Godzilla movie had the best characters, and the later series hit or miss characters, depending on what they were going for in a Godzilla movie during that time period. In this movie, I was very drawn and invested in these characters from start to finish. Even without Godzilla in the scenes or not being mentioned, I was hooked. When seeing this in the movie theaters, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If this was not a Godzilla movie, this could have been just a good war drama movie. But I mean that in a good way. I was drawn to these characters' dilemmas, problems, obstacles, and their fears. Like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Pinhead, and Chucky, the movie ends knowing Godzilla is not dead and he's still alive. Here's my friend Christian's recording on Godzilla Minus One.
Godzilla Minus One, in so many ways, exceeded all my expectations. I was certainly expecting to like this. I mean, it's very hard for me to not like a Godzilla movie, but I was not expecting this to, in some ways, actually top the original Godzilla. Like, I think this is at least the best film in the franchise since the original. It definitely has the best human cast of any Godzilla movie since the original film. And much like the original Godzilla, it treats the subject matter like serious drama. It's basically a drama film that just happens to feature a giant monster as the main antagonist. And making this a period piece set right after the events of World War II, I thought was a brilliant idea. And in this movie, you really get a sense that Godzilla is the shadow of World War II made flesh. And in this movie, Godzilla is not just a metaphor for the atomic bomb, but is a metaphor for World War II in general, and is also a metaphor for the main character's personal trauma and survivor's guilt. Literally an excellent movie. I cannot recommend this enough. Not even just as a Godzilla fan. This is like a legitimately great film.
If I ever made a video on my favorite Godzilla movie, this one will definitely make the list for sure. Despite this movie getting a lot of great reception, me loving and praising it, it would not be surprised if some people nitpick this movie, but so far, I don't have any nitpicks or flaws of this movie that I can think of at the moment. Anytime I see a movie that I really love and like, I buy it right away on Blu-ray. That's what I'm doing for this movie. I'm not waiting for Christmas or my birthday. This is a must-own Godzilla movie to add to my collection. I'm also glad to be filming this video and wrote down my thoughts in advance too, because I didn't want to have a blank mind before making this video. I've only seen this movie once, when it came out in the movie theaters back in December. Despite all I said about this movie, maybe somewhere down the road when I get a chance to rewatch this movie, I'll do a re-review with my friends or my father to see if I have more to say about this movie. Also, I don't know why and when this movie will be released here in America on Blu-ray or DVD. Also, I don't know why and when this movie will be released here in America on Blu-ray or DVD. Japan has a release date for this movie, but not here in the US. It's true they say history does repeat itself. When a total Godzilla movie is released here in the US, we must wait for a long time as it takes for this movie to be distributed here in America. This wraps up all the total Godzilla movies. Now on to the American Godzilla movies. See you soon.